Hi, this is Don Zico again. I'm doing another Warhammer Fantasy Battles battle report. This time it's against my younger brother and his Empire, who I'm facing off with a sort of MSU style Dark Elf army. Now, before we start, I want to take a minute to give my little brother some props. He is 15. He did not own any Warhammer models 6 months ago, and he's painted everything you see on the table on his own since then. So me and all the people I play with have been pretty impressed, and I think you guys should be too. Now, in comments to the previous battle report, you guys wanted a little bit more analysis. So I'm going to start by just sort of running down what I'm trying to do here, and this is basically the strategy that I'm going to use against probably 80 to 90% of the people I play against, where I figure that Dark Elves fight really hard, and we have really great fast cav and skirmishers, but we're very vulnerable to shooting. So ordinarily what I'll do is I'll deploy, my Cold One Knights or Blackguard or whatever in the center and kind of hang back and wait for the enemy to come to me, while I'll put my Dark Riders and my Shades and my Harpies on the flanks, and a Hydra if I have one, and try to just run up the flanks, kill his missile troops, kill his war machines, threaten the flanks of any infantry blocks he has, that sort of thing. So my deployment is going to match that. If you look on my left flank, I've got 2 units of Dark Riders, a unit of Harpies in those ruins, and then moving across, I've got a hill with I've got some crossbowmen, and then a hill with 2 bolt throwers and more crossbowmen on it. And then on my kind of moving across to my right, I've got my Corsairs, my Knights, my other Knights, and my block of Warriors, and a unit of Dark Riders. So this time around, I'm basically waiting my light troops on the left flank, since that's sort of where his missile troops are deployed. Now, the Empire player, he's basically kind of fortifying this hill. He's got, on the hill on his right, he's got 2 units of handgunners, each with champions with long rifles and a cannon. Then he's got flagellants in front of them. And on his left, he's got 2 units of swordsmen. The one in the center is going to have a level 2 mage in it. The one on his left is going to have a level 4 mage and a battle standard bearer in it. And in front of them, he's got a unit of Inner Circle Knights with a Warrior Priest and his Steam Tank on his extreme left. So Empire player gets turn 1. He's going to move his Knights and his Flagellants up, but basically keep his blocks in place. And he's also going to move his Steam Tank. He's going to swing it out to the left behind those woods, because I thought this was pretty interesting, but he was really concerned about getting shot with my bolt throwers. So he wanted to advance up the flank so he could avoid my artillery fire. Now, he had a lot of magic, but most of his stuff was out of range, so he didn't really accomplish anything. But in his shooting phase, his cannon shot at one of my bolt throwers, and he killed it and one unlucky Corsair, so that was pretty concerning. Then on my turn, I move up my light stuff on the flank, so both Dark Rider units, my Shades run up out of the woods, my Harpies run in front of his Flagellants. And then on my right flank, I was concerned because I'd lost a bolt thrower, and I just didn't feel like I really had the firepower I needed to stop that steam tank. So I drop a unit of my Knights back, so that if his steam tank, as his steam tank swings around, I should be able to get the charge on it with those Knights. And hopefully, at strength 6 with the Cauldron of Blood, I'll be able to put enough wounds on the thing that it'll basically stop being a threat. And that's about all I want to get out of it. I have no expectation that I'll actually kill the steam tank in this game. Then my shooting pretty much performs as expected. I kill something like 8 of the handgunners in that unit, and they fail their panic check, run off the board. And I also, between my bolt thrower and my crossbowman, I'm going to kill 3 knights out of his knightly order, so that's good. Now, I kind of messed up on Empire turn 2. I did not take very good pictures, but essentially what he does is he moves his blocks up a little bit and pulls his knights back. So his blocks and his knights are sort of making this line ending at the forest. His steam tank is still sitting on the far side of the forest, and he's afraid to move out because he thinks he's going to get charged by my knights. And his flagellants have to charge my Harpies. The Harpies flee, so the flagellants fail the charge, and they're kind of stuck out in the open in an awkward. Again, his magic's pretty ineffective, but his shooting is not. His cannon kills my other bolt thrower, and his remaining Hawkman long rifle puts a wound on my sorceress. So I'm starting to get concerned about that. Then on my turn 2, I'm going to charge his cannon with one of my Dark Rider units. The crew flee, so I fail the charge, but I've shut the cannon down. My Harpies are going to rally. And then on my right, my Dark Rider unit has run past his steam tank and is now behind all of his state troops blocks, threatening rear charges, which would be pretty bad news. Then my shooting, I'm going to take some pot shots at his state troops detachment, and I'm also going to kill all but one of that other handgunner unit. So his shooting phase is pretty much non-existent by this point. It's just going. So like right now, if you look at the map, I'm enveloping him quite well. I think everything's going according to plan. That turns out to be not entirely correct. Okay, again, there's not a whole lot going on in the Empire movement. He moves his state troops up slightly, and his flagellants he moves up. The big thing is his steam tank. He tries to loop that around the flank and move it up to use the steam gun against my knights. Now, he's got a lot more magic than I do. He's got a level 4 and a level 2, and I've only got a level 1 with 2 scrolls. So even though he had a pretty bad miscast the previous turn that lost him a level on his level 4, it's a little much for my magic defense. So he's going to kill 5 shades, 4 warriors, and 2 dark riders off that unit that swung around the back this turn. So moving on to Dark Elf turn 3, and this is where we really start to see some fighting. So I declare several charges. One of my Dark Elf units on my left flank charges his block with his level 2 mage. It would have been a flank charge, so he didn't think he was going to be able to hold against that, so he flees through his other block, but they passed their panic check. Then my Harpies and my Corsairs charge his Flagellants. And again, my Corsairs have Frenzy and a character in them, so his Flagellants are really in for it. And my Cold One Knights charge his Steam Tank. And I give the Cold One Knights the +1 attack. So they're going to hit at 2 strength 6 attacks per model and 2 strength 4 attacks from the mounts. And it's all going to be automatic hits against the tank. So I'm feeling pretty good at the start of this turn. And then in my other movement, I'm also going to kind of reposition these crossbowmen to have a better shot, and kind of dance around with my other 2 Dark Rider units to try and keep to see if they can set up to get a flank or rear charge against his other block. I don't have a huge amount of shooting this turn, but I do kill several state troops off his unengaged block and off one of his detachments. And then it's on to combat. So my Harpies and my Corsairs kill 18 Flagellants. That's all but 3. But of course they hold because they're Flagellants. My remaining 3 Shades, I forgot to mention them. They charged the Handgunner Champion. They kill him. And my Cold One Knights did a whopping 2 wounds to his Steam Tank. So he's still got 8 wounds left. He can still generate Steam points safely. And that's going to be pretty bad. And that brings us to Empire turn 4. Okay, so he doesn't do a whole lot of movement. He just kind of turns so that my Dark, to keep trying to, he rallies and he turns to try and deny my Dark Riders flank and rear charges. In his magic phase, he kills 2 Dark Riders off of my other unit that's sort of running around the back, and 3 crossbowmen. And then in his combat phase, he kills 3 Cold One Knights with impact hits. They flee. His tank doesn't pursue because it can't. And my Corsairs and Harpies finish off his Flagellants. Alright, I've got several charges on my turn 4. I'm going to charge a depleted unit of Dark Riders into the flank of his block with his General and his Battle Standard Bearer. I'm going to charge my other Dark Riders into the front of his other block. I'm going to charge my Harpies into one of his detachments and my remaining 3 Shades into his other detachment. And then in my movement phase, this is bad. My unengaged Cold One Knights are going to roll a 10 on their stupidity check, just move 3.5 inches right into charge reach of his knights. They've been kind of having a standoff the whole game. We know how it ends now. And I'm also going to bring my warriors around to try and kind of face the steam tank to take a charge from it. And that'll be my movement. Because everything's fighting, I don't really have any close combat, any shooting or magic, so on to close combat. My unit of 5 Dark Riders doesn't do enough damage. They lose, they flee. My unit of 3 kills 2 of them and gets a draw. And this is pretty funny. They actually get a draw against this block 3 times in a row. And then my Corsairs and my Shades are both going to kill some dudes, but stay stuck in against his detachment.